Dr. Linehan, thank you so much for attending Moments to Change this year down in Palm Beach.
I love being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been wonderfully taken care of.
Well, thank you. Well, your talk this morning, it was one of the most well-attended opening keynotes that we've had. The room was packed, and I just wish we could have had a bigger location to fit everybody in. But your talk this morning, I wanted to ask you a question because one of your slides, I think, started off so well, was talking about the role of the therapist as ally versus adversary. And I was wondering if you could maybe comment on that.
Well, you know, when I got going in this field, I didn't know that anybody was anything but an ally. So I assumed all therapists were allies. It seems to me that's what your job is, and certainly what the client thinks you're doing. And it wasn't until my students started going on internships and came back from internships and told me how really judgmental a lot of therapists were. And DBT requires that A, you not be judgmental. B, you can't kick people out for the therapy, you can't kick people out for the problems that brought them into therapy in the first place, which appears to happen in a lot of places. So I think a real asset of me developing a treatment was that I never got training in clinical psychology. I never got training in psychotherapy. And so I never learned all those rules, which is, you know, we have this rule, that rule, this rule, there's this, there's that, there's this. So I never learned any of them in the first place.
What do you think with the significant growth in social media, with all these devices that we carry around in our pockets, like the iPhone and all the apps, do you see a role in social media and with these apps, the technology role with DBT? Where does the future lie? Because I think about the diary cards, you know, that you use, and do you foresee some evolution in how that interacts with social media and with technology?
Oh, my belief is that we're going to get the whole treatment in technology. Right now, we have just finished developing an online emotion regulation program using all the emotion regulation skills. And then we're now developing an online treatment for alcoholics who are suicidal, because the usual alcoholic who's suicidal wouldn't even come in for treatment anyway. So we're going to have that. The other thing we need is, especially for drug addicts, is something that says you're on a dangerous street, turn around, go back. You're here, you're in your dangerous spot. And our experience with a lot of our opiate people in particular is there's certain places they just can't be on those streets. And, you know, we could have something that could look at how they're dressed and say, okay, you dress like a drug addict, we change your clothes, you know. So I think all of this is going to move this direction, and it's going to be, we're going to need therapists able to use these things with their clients. So diary cards can be done that way. You know, all kinds of, the future is what this is. I mean, I know that because my 2.5-year-old grandchild can use my iPhone better than me.
We all suffer with that.
Yeah. So yeah, but they're all going to be using it. So that's the path we're on. But and NIMH, I'm on council of NIMH, and they're very interested in this. And so we can do something that tells a person you're getting aroused, you're starting to get upset. Use this skill, do this, go down. So it's like having someone watching you all the time. That keeps giving you information. Okay, do this, do that, use this skill, da 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 da. So we have not done that yet ourselves, but you know, DBT is rapidly becoming a public treatment, completely out of my hands, and so someone will do it.
Right. One of the things in your talk today, you talked about trauma and what a lot of lay people view as trauma, but then the other aspects of trauma, especially dealing with people that are important to someone and the invalidation sometimes they might receive from those folks.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you might comment on that. And you also mentioned you have a new book coming out.
Yeah, well, my book's already out.
Okay.
Dialectical Behavior Therapy Skills Manual. And in there, if you look it up, there's a whole section on traumatic invalidation. So traumatic invalidation is a complicated concept, but it's when you're invalidated for what you do, what you think, who you are, etc., by people that you very much value, who are very important to you. And so it essentially validates who you are. And we're finding in a lot of our traumatized people in particular with other traumas that they had this trauma. And until I came up with this, nobody really thought of the idea of doing exposure on traumatic invalidation. But my lab is now doing that, and it has a huge positive effect. In other words, it can be treated. Because you find all these people who were invalidated by their parents in particular, teachers they really valued, people they really valued as young, and they're still living with it now, still traumatized by it now. And it's still influencing what they do, who they think they are, the shame that they feel, the disgust for themselves they feel, that whole thing. And it turns out that you can go back and do an exposure treatment and have that come down. So that's the latest of the late and the newest of the new. Because one of my senior scientists just completed that recently.
Excellent.
So it's pretty exciting that we could do that. Because that's I think it's a very ignored problem, and many therapists are thinking, okay, change your thinking, as if somehow, that's like saying someone who's got PTSD for rape, okay, quit thinking about it, which nobody can do. And no one can do this either when it's traumatic. So it's my latest and my late ideas.
Well, we're just so appreciative that you could make time to join us here. I think, exposing our audience, to your research, I think helps bring it back to the forefront. And I'm just so honored that you would attend our conference and speak to us today.
Listen, I was honored to be invited. And I'm double honored to be treated so well.
Well, thank you so much,
You're
Dr.
welcome.
Linehan.
Yeah.
All right.